time for our second session here. 2 best-of-5s to go for Challenger. And it's going to be a good 2 series here.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Just checking to make sure I didn't miss the invite to the game. Sorry about that.
Yeah. We got YongHwa versus Leenock up first. Pretty cool PVZ. Leenock now part of Yoi Flash Wolves. And YongHwa with MVP,
yeah,
right?
He just joined MVP.
Okay.
He was one of the members of that IM diaspora.
Yeah.
The IM frag grenade that exploded into pieces, and all the pieces are being put together in other different teams. IM is still, by the way, not officially disbanded. Sorry about that for that crazy thing that happened a few months ago where people freaked out. I thought they were disbanded, but they're still actually technically a team. By the way, our group selection is coming up.
Yeah, this is who we got so far qualified for the round of 16 here of the StarCraft Starleague SSL. We got Dream, TY, Gumiho, and Maru as the Terrans so far. For Protosses, we got Classic, Terminator, Stats, Deer, Myungshik, Super, and Hero. 2 of those guys qualifying today. And of course, for Zergs, we got Rogue, Life, and Dark. I have to say, even though the amount of Zergs is less than both Terran and Protoss, those 3 Zergs are incredibly good.
They are indeed. I think part of the reason why we get this put up here right now is because we're going to see Leenock play as our last Zerg representative in Challengers. So, you know, it's at most going to be 4, and YongHwa might actually further that Protoss ratio and keep the Zergs down there at 3.
Yep, and we'll definitely have 5 Terrans. That's decided so far, because that last match of the day is, of course, Fantasy versus Marine King, and those are both Terrans.
Well, just looking at some chat here.
Yeah.
Leenock's just being really funny, and is also really confused about the procedure of how it's going to happen. He thought he had a little bit of time to actually go to the bathroom, but he does not. I think he'll be fine, though.
Yeah, he should be okay. But for our first player today, we got YongHwa, or rather, the first player of the second session. First player right now, it is YongHwa. Protoss player now of MVP. And
very famous for always making it the round of 32 and then not making it further than that, and then requalifying.
And then round of 32 again and again.
There's actually only 31 unknown players at the GSL oftentimes.
Yeah.
Because YongHwa's he's just permanently there. There's never really a mystery. Obviously, as you can see, he hasn't been in it every season. Missing Season 1 and only actually in Season 2 of 2014 was there. Missing Seasons 1 and 3 of this year. But a solid Protoss. One of our Tosis' old favorites. A very defensive player at times. Not a very aggressive one. He does do some crazy cheeses every now and then, though.
Trying to throw a wrench into his own style to take out the opponents. But he will be going up against Leenock, now part of Yoi Flash Wolves. Doing pretty well. I mean, to get to the round of 4 there at Valencia, DreamHack's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's done quite well overseas. Ever since joining Yoi, he's had the experiences of traveling to a lot of IPLs, or not IPLs, excuse me, DreamHacks. IPL, of course, long since ended, but a great tournament series, one of my favorites from back in the day.
Did win Season 5, as you guys do see down there.
Yeah. That was a long time ago, though. That was many years before actually joining Yoi. That was a more recent move. And he's the last Yoi representative left in this tournament, as both of his teammates did fall 0-3 yesterday, getting annihilated.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Harding and Son not having the best showing. But, guys, let's get into map bans and picks here. We do have Foxtrot Labs to be banned out here by YongHwa, and then Deadwing banned out by Leenock.
Yep. And these bans are pretty standard. I mean, I'm trying to find like a really intelligent thing to say about them, but they're pretty normal. Foxtrot Labs, the ban that's a little bit more strange, I guess, from YongHwa, but it's really not that out of the ordinary. In this matchup, all the maps are pretty balanced. It just depends on spawning locations, for example, on Foxtrot Labs as to how Zerg might dislike the map or how Protoss might dislike the map because of how exposed the third base is. So I think that's the reason why YongHwa bans out there because he doesn't want to have that exposed third against Leenock's aggressive style. And I like that we start things off on Sejong because it's going to kind of set the pace for this best of 5.
Very balanced map to start things off. We do go into Nimbus, Catalina, Merry-Go-Round, and Overgrowth there to finish things off.
Overgrowth being the 5th map, probably not going to make Leenock too happy. Yeah, and it looks like Leenock's actually maybe getting that little break that he wanted. Because YongHwa actually just kind of went, and then Leenock's like, what? He went, that's not fair. So, he's still in the lobby. I'm not even sure what's going on. Maybe YongHwa didn't come back yet because we got to see him actually on camera end up leaving the booth.
He was there for the camera shot, and then he left. He's
Yeah.
like, this is my only responsibility for now.
So as soon as everything is set there, we're going to get this started. Just talking about the maps a little bit more. The Deadwing ban is something we're seeing a few more Zergs actually do against Protoss. And I think it's because they don't like that vertical spawn. Cross spawns ends up being okay. And sometimes ends up being a lot of Mutalist games where the Protoss ends up in a nasty base trade because they want to go and kill the Zerg, and then they're halfway across Deadwing cross spawns, which is like the rush distance of Overgrowth is like half of the cross spawn locations.
There's also at that third base, if you do not break down the rocks and take the one that's closer, it's got that ledge on the outside that Protoss units can usually be very annoying, especially the Colossi.
Yeah,
could just poke at your drones there at the third base. So
in the 4th, if you want to take that as a Zerg, it gets a bit more complicated.
You gotta
as
break
well.
down the rocks if you want it to be connected by creep and such.
Yeah. So I mean, I can understand the ban. It's definitely a map that we saw all Zergs ban if possible before they disabled horizontal spawns.
Oh yeah.
But
I remember when was that Parting who played on that map, and he just went aggressive, like some basic build or something, like 3-gate pressure or something, and he just killed the Zerg.
Yeah,
he was laughing the entire time.
He walled off the secondary ramp. Like he walled off his third base and just took 3 bases. Like, we don't like to talk about that. It's like it reminds me of like the Daedalus Point days. That's when Zerg actually had their chance. That one map almost forced Seed to retire, but he ended up sticking around, thankfully for that. Everybody is ready though, as the chat says.
Yeah, that timing syncing up here ready with the start of the music. You guys know what that means. This is match number 15, the second to last one before we get all of our round of 16 players, and it will be on King Sejong Station.
Yep. Let's find out, guys, who will be the 15th player here to join the group stage. Jumping into map number 1, King Sejong Station.
Down here in the bottom right, in the red, the Protoss player, it is YongHwa.
Indeed. Where's that camera shot? There he is.
He uses blue earphones like I do.
Yeah. To the top left, the Leenock. That's actually his official nickname.
Okay.
I'm not even making this up. I started calling him that when his creep spread was insane back in the day. I want to say on Atlantis Spaceship / Space Bear. Back in the day, his creep spread was down every alley on that map. I think that's the map where he got that nickname. But,
so was it an octopus because it had many legs?
Well, the creep was spread in so many different directions. It looked like an octopus on the map. It's a Leenock.
What do we have here? A ton of probes queued up. We're gonna have Nexus first here on King Sejong Station.
Not a bad choice.
I want to point out to you guys, in the wild card matches, YongHwa was actually able to defeat Sue and DRG. So those are 2 pretty strong Zergs these days. DRG maybe not so much as Sue, but in order to have that kind of wins in a very high-pressure situation like a wild card match, definitely very, very good results.
People were going crazy about that wild card match. He actually also beat TY in Flash, I believe, in that match as well. So they ended up getting into a tiebreaker at the last second, if I remember correctly. So that was pretty out of control. Like, YongHwa had his best day ever in that qualifier. I remember that was not streamed at all, and when I found out that it was YongHwa, I tweeted it. People were like, "You trolling? You serious? Like,
You trolling, mate?"
okay, he's gonna actually end up doing a delayed cannon here, and Leenock with a greedy double hatch for pool is about to get punished.
Not scouted
now.
either.
About to get punished. Great forge placement. This is so cool. These games today, man.
We're seeing a lot of change-ups here. It's really cool.
Just tight wall that off. So sorry, Leenock. He still doesn't even know.
This is going to be so annoying.
He could actually even just cancel the second cannon. He doesn't even need it. He's just going to commit, though.
That Overlord, he scouts the Nexus, and the Forge was not down there with the Nexus. It was actually in base.
Yeah.
The first pylon was made in base.
It's a hidden Forge.
Wow.
He
really,
actually,
really cool build for the map, actually.
He could have even attempted to cannon the third base. Ooh, even gets a drone. This has been something Zerg players complain about forever, that the drones have to spawn and go around the hatchery, whereas all other town halls send the units immediately out of whatever angle they're coming from. And that actually costs them a drone there. But third base is up. Didn't decide to cannon that one. Got a cannon going up at home just for safety. I think like is getting a lot of extra drone production out of this hatch at least. And just sending it right over to mine. So not the worst thing ever, but almost the worst thing ever.
I mean, able to get a Nexus first while denying one of these greedy hatcheries is definitely going to put YongHwa ahead here.
And it's not even just about how that he denies the base to keep him on two base for a while. It's the fact that he's going to force him to take a weird, awkward third, because killing those cannons with these positions with the pylon to help out in those minerals is going to take a ton of units. It's just going to take too long. He has to take a third base at a weird spot, and this is what YongHwa can do, or this is what can allow YongHwa to do a follow-up aggressive timing, because not only is the economy awkward and weird here, but he's also going to be in a position where he's just so far away from the rest of his reinforcements, and he's so close to YongHwa. He's going to reinforce these pylons just to make sure that Leenock has to take that awkward base.
Yeah. Would love to see YongHwa just follow up with, what Super was doing in that series and actually just add a couple more gates, put on some pressure, chrono boost out the warp gate research, and start attacking at that base. Because like you were saying, it's not going to be connected by creep. It's much closer than the natural would be here out in the middle of the map. And you could just put up one pylon on the little ledge at his own middle base and just warp in right over that ledge.
Yeah.
And just be so close.
Well, I guarantee he's going to be doing something similar to this. Leenock made this spine crawler. You might be wondering about that with the tumor that he has, so he can kill his cannons with the spine. It's going to take a long time, but at least it's going to be more efficient than trying to kill that with Zerglings and Queens. So that's what's going on over there.
Whereas YongHwa back at home, he just takes a safe third base. I mean, this is also another option, I guess, not wanting to put on the aggression a bit early.
Yeah, it's a fair alternative. He didn't have the +1 on his forge because his gases were late, so I think that's part of the reason why he's decided not to attack. Doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to attack, when that warp gate research is finished. It's just not going to be like a big attack. These cannons are wishing they could shoot across, hit those drones at the actual third base. Sadly not to be, and there's that pylon, or rather, excuse me, the
pylon
crawler
being poked.
Ouch.
There it is.
I love spine crawlers, actually. They're my favorite side defense in this game. They look like they have, like, a real life of their own, Yeah. One of the only static defenses in the game that actually feels lively. Well, things are flowing along here for Leenock. He's going right into roaches because he knows that it's going to be pretty important, considering the position he's in with this awkward third base that's out right in the middle of nowhere. Once this pylon's dead, obviously the cannons will become unpowered, and you can clean those up. And an infestation pit is planted here. I think we're going to see some swarm hosts. He also hides it at the third base, so...
Yeah, nicely done. He's going to take now his fourth base here. And YongHwa, so far, he has put on no pressure. He's just getting 3 bases, starting to make immortals now, which, of course, will be good against the roaches, but not so much against the swarm hosts.
Nope. Let's make sure. I mean, he could be doing something totally crazy. rushing out
Rushed
infestors or
Brood
something.
Lords.
I doubt that, but Leenock loves his infestors. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Storm. Let's just wait and see, though. Okay.
I mean, he's already getting the +1 to range.
Yeah.
There we go, Lucas.
But I'm just thinking about Leenock from the old days, Infestor Leenock. I was like kind of hoping he was going to do something crazy, but he's still in an awkward position in this game. He will finally have that 4th base secured, and because of how he's mined, the 4th base, the 4th base that he took as his 3rd base is going to be mined out first. So the base that matters a lot is going to. Whoa!
I'm like, hold that thought, Wolf.
I thought those were gateways.
We got 3 Stargates on the way here. And YongHwa is already up to 70 probes here. He's getting like all the techs at the same time. And he is just going like massive late game style right now with the focus on air.
Well, I'd like to see him get +1 at his Cyber Core if he's going to go triple Void Rays here. It's going to mean that Corruptors are not going to be a factor in this game, that's for sure. Those Colossi get stronger from this. If this is like triple Stargate Phoenix, I'll be really surprised, but okay.
I really hold that thought, Wolf.
I actually thought he was just going to go Void Rays, but I was wondering because does he have enough gas for that? I mean, he doesn't, but with this, he can harass a lot, he can kill a lot of Overlords, and it's going to make sure that no Mutalisk switch is ever going to be a factor in this game.
Yeah, I mean, already with 3 Phoenix out on the map, he's going to make 3 more. I wonder how many he's going to save before showing them. Do you have the Spire on the way?
There's no Spore Crawlers, so this is just going to come out and kill a lot of drones and a lot of Overlords initially. There's like no anti-air on the map. He only has 4 Queens, in fact, so if he kills the Queens too, he's going to start losing injects. Oh my god, actually, this is... The more I think about it, this is such a brilliant choice. You can even actually pick up the Swarm Host.
That's the thing. He's keeping his Observer with the Swarm Host, and he may just go for an attack where he picks up all the Swarm Hosts and then rushes through in between Locust cycles.
What is Leenock doing these spines? He's making 7 spines. I think he's misreading what's going on. He wants to do a big Muta switch, but he's going to change his mind once he sees this many Phoenixes. 9 Phoenixes going exactly like you said, Valdez. Uh-oh! Good reaction here. Immediately picks them up to save some of them. And immediately a Spore is started as well. Let's see how much damage these get done, because there's no answer for them whatsoever in the mineral lines. This is going to be disastrous, and that Mutalisk switch is now Corruptors.
Yeah.
Oh boy, so many Harvesters going down now. 6. Gonna need more than that, and it's gonna start picking off Overseers, Overlords. The Corruptors here are gonna try to save the day, but they're too slow. It's actually gonna fight these? That was a bit weird.
He moved in there, maybe an accident, and now taking a 4th base. This is part of the reason why Artosis loves this guy so much. He just plays so passive. You know, he's taking 4th base. He's only pressuring with his Phoenixes. And he's getting a giant ball, a giant army. He's getting a bunch of upgrades, Colossus upgrades, ground upgrades, Blink at the same time.
Well, a 10 Zealot Warpin over here to the top right as well to help, you know, harass, maybe kill some Lings here. He's going to trade insanely well with the Lings, but the Roaches are going to make this a very short-lived attack. Also didn't pull his Warp Prism away, so that goes down. But anyways, this attack is the real big threat that he has to deal with now. The second wave of Zealots is going to go to that same top right location, so it's going to force Leenock to actually split his attention. He still has 9 Swarmos on the maps and a bajillion Spine Crawlers. Not a gajillion, but a bazillion. And
is that so?
Yeah, I checked the unit or the structure tab.
All right.
But this is a scary army, but it's hard to commit heavily to going into all that static defense and going into those Swarm Hosts. He's going to just harass with his Phoenixes instead, use this army to clear up some creep, and continue to harass with these Zealots. And if he moves that static defense, if he moves those Swarm Hosts, then he can actually attack that 4th base.
Finally on the way here. But if he wants to go into Vipers to help deal with these Colossi that are coming out one by one here, already a Templar Archives finish. High Templar are going to be very nice against those. He's got the Blink as well. So we could see some nice micro with that as well against
Hive,
any Vipers that come out.
the Hive could end up being used for Ultralisk here as well. Just considering the comp for YongHwa and how he hasn't added any Void Rays in, of course, which is what I initially thought he was going to be going for. Let's see. This is a ton more spines being added. All that static defense going to help defend this base. It's got vision of the high ground, so he knows whenever the Zealots come by, actually, because of those Overlords. Oh, there's Locusts. Love that sound.
Disgusting.
Ooh, good position here on the Corruptors to pick off these Colossi. One goes down, the second one will fall as well, which further makes these Locusts on the ground so much stronger, and they're targeting down sentries. Big warping in the main, though. This is the only place on the map where there aren't any spine crawlers.
16 mutas on the way. He's got to target those Zealots, actually. Could have maybe targeted down that Hive, but instead just going for the Queen there, messing up the AI a little bit. Now going for a Spore Crawler, not the most damage. YongHwa not known for being the best multitasker in the game.
Yeah, that definitely is true, but he gets a lot of drones at the end of the day. 10 drones go down, so absolutely worth it. And it buys him time to respond to the Mutalisk. His Storm is ready now. Starts the Fleet Beacon. He has on the map right now not a single Phoenix.
Yeah, they all went down, actually. And he's not making them.
Which is kind
at
of
the
weird.
same time. He's got this Fleet Beacon on the way, but no Phoenixes. And he's got a huge bank. He can make them right now.
I think he thinks he's making them, but he's not. Well, he's going to fill that supply hole and sink these minerals into more Zealots. Zealots on the right side of the map, and Zealots going into the main base. Going to, again, force the Mutalisk to turn around, which buys him time to make Phoenixes. I guess he says, okay, there they go. I was about to say, I guess he's just going to rely on Storm, but this is a really funny game. This is a very aggressive move out here, but he has the Mothership Core with this, so he can just recall if he feels unsafe at any moment against this many Mutalisks. 22 of them, in fact. I think he's just going to fight them in the recall, but oh, the snipe of the Mothership Core means he can't run away now.
That's just so many air units to be able to snipe that down right away.
Again, Zealots running to the top right. And eventually, you know, with +3 on these Zealots, wear those spines down.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He has it on the Stalkers as well. Do very nicely against the Mutas. Possibly another reason why he's delaying the Phoenix count coming out here. Finally, he's got 5, so he can do some nice kiting. But again, that's a lot of Corruptors in the mix as well. They are going to protect it very nicely. And if he can snipe out that one pylon here.
Ouch. Unpowers 2 gates. Will unpower the 3rd as well. And with the Corruptors in this army and the micro that we're seeing, which is incredible, this is so hard to defend. He lost 20 probes, 22 probes right now. This is going to become a base trade, it looks like, and I'm not sure this is one that YongHwa can win.
No.
Fleet Beacon getting targeted down as well, which means no more carriers.
There's a carrier. That may have been a mistake.
I think
right
so.
Next to C.
Yeah.
He's got some Archons now in the mix, but again, those are not as mobile. They can't go up and down the cliffs here. They're actually being blocked by the gateways right now, so able to just easily fly away.
He's using the structures against him. 17 more meters about to pop out. He doesn't realize his carrier mistake, so we're going to see a carrier in this game, which was definitely not intentional. A Viper here. He might even grab an Archon. No joke. Well, let's take that off. Well, I guess Archons are massive. Maybe not. But see, he actually contaminates the carrier.
Nice.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't actually. The carrier's the only one that's still building. Now it's not.
Vipers are out here.
This is just... YongHwa is struggling so much to deal with this. As long as he can stay away from those Archons... Ouch, that really hurt. As long as he can stay away from those Archons, this air army is just thrashing YongHwa right now. And he can replace it with anything he wants. The Ultralisk Cavern is done. So he could just make a big switch to Ultralisk whenever he's ready. He's starting to build a massive bank here on 5 bases.
Leenock actually needs to remake some Overlords. He's supply blocked right now, as we did see there. 8 Overlords already being taken down by those Phoenixes earlier on. And a ton of cannons over here to counteract what Leenock was doing at his own 4th base earlier.
This is one of my favorite things to watch, actually. Ooh, not this. This is not one of my favorite things to watch, but Corruptor Mutalisk Micro versus Anion Pulse Crystal Phoenix is It's actually a great dance of death. Now baits him into those swarm hosts. Those Archons have to get back. They're the backbone of this army right now. He did actually finish up those interceptors on the carrier, so...
a decent addition to the mix, I guess, to have one carrier. Really interesting.
I don't think it's intentional.
You never know.
Gonna get a few more of those Mutalisks. If he can lock lasers with a Corruptor or two, he can snipe them out, but Leenock's control is just too good.
It's a lot of Phoenixes, though. Right now he's got 15, and not that many Corruptors in the air, only 15. Infestors on the way here.
There they go. I knew that Infestation Pit was for Infestors. Ooh, that Archon Blast with a ton of AoE damage, and oh no, Leenock is... He's going to make a switch into Ultralisk anyways, but maybe a bit faster than he wanted to with all these Mutalisks going down. Too many Spines, too many Swarmos, has to get back, almost loses an Archon. Oh, might even lose it.
YongHwa with that, with the the defense that he had to take against all those mutas and that switch into mutas, he was never able to take that 4th base, or rather the middle base, the 5th base, and this natural here is almost mined out. Whereas Leenock, he's had 5 bases for a while. He can take that left base whenever he wants, and he set up a nice position in the middle of the map with these static defenses, all these spine crawlers, as well as the swarm hosts here, going to make this push much harder.
All right, no storms going down just yet. Okay, there they go. Not sure what the hesitation was on that one, but finally gets those down. Wrecks this air army, but the Ultralisk transition is real. He's making a few Corruptors, of course, with this as well. And he has a Greater Spire, so he can switch to Broodlords at any point. Good catch on these Infestors. It's normally supposed to be the other way around, but very nicely done. How many Ultralisks will he have here? 3. Okay, just 3. He doesn't have a lot of minerals. He didn't have Pathogen Glands, so maybe those Infestors didn't have energy after all, actually.
Yeah, he's remaking a lot of Corruptors in this mix as well. He's going to need them to deal with the remaking, because now a ton of those mutas did go down, as well as some Corruptors, so we do see double Colossi production on the way here as well. The carrier did go down, unfortunately.
Let's have a moment of silence for the carrier. Okay.
Sorry, carrier fans.
That Archon was in a dangerous spot, but luckily the Locust timed out. Another pick off here, grabbing that Queen. Phoenixes are just so scary. I mean, he's got to keep the Corruptors on the map just because of that reason alone. Otherwise, they're just going to run rampant, kill all of his Overlords, keep harassing.
Oh, Archon. Okay. Just stay alive. A lot of Phoenixes.
Yeah, if you can get all of your Phoenixes to lock on a Corruptor like this, you can just pick them off and fly away.
I think he was just trying to bait him in to the fungal, but Leenock misses the fungal. And now these Phoenixes are running rampant once again, picking off a lot of Overlords. And now they're heading towards the main base. Let's see what we got in here.
Well, not too many drones left. But he is going to just get a few more Overlords. Yeah, and like you said, the gas drones, another whiffed fungal here. And now he could... it's not worth it to try to kill that Infestor with all the Corruptors here.
Yeah, too many Corruptors right now.
He's killing the Corruptors so well, though. He's actually microing the Phoenixes very nicely. Because they have the same...
in and out of the fungals here.
They have the same range as Corruptors, so what happens is if you lock all your Phoenixes on one Corruptor on the edge, only that Corruptor can hit your Phoenixes, but all your Phoenixes fire and move at the same time, whereas the Corruptors kind of have a little bit of an acceleration to them while they fight. So you can just pick that one Corruptor off and keep flying and then lock onto another one. It's going to happen here again. Look, he locks onto that one and almost gets it.
He's trying to cut him off here with some Infestors, but the Phoenix is just too fast.
Yeah.
And now the Ultralisk is in the spot. He's adding 2 Immortals at a time here. He's taking his 5th base over here to the right.
This is just keeping Leenock so preoccupied. And with the composition that Leenock's built, there's not really much potential for harass. In fact, even burrowed Infestors can't get anything done because of all the cannons on the map at all the bases. I suppose he could try to maybe use that at the new 5th base. He takes the right side. Leenock's free spread is really good too. That's something I want to point out here because that's going to become more and more important as the game goes on for vision, as well as for his Ultralisk to get that extra speed. He continues to move it down this direction. That's going to also help his Locust, which are now attacking this base.
He's finally taken that base over towards the left, so the only base that has not been taken so far is the middle base for the Protoss.
Oh, getting really close to fungal range. That was really scary.
He's got a lot of High Templar in this mix. If he can Leenock's, first of all, storm all these locusts so that they barely do any damage and get a lot of feedbacks on those infestors.
Yeah.
He's going to have a amazingly scary army.
Viper's now coming in for Blinding Cloud. And I mean, the the locusts here are a bit of an annoyance, but there's just not quite enough of them to really make a difference. Cannon Wall over here should buy enough time for YongHwa to come home. He might even recall, actually. Oh, there's that fungal that Leenock wanted. But still, this Death Ball still fires and still does a lot of range damage, even while under fungals. That third base over there, or excuse me, fourth base to the bottom left is taking a lot of damage to the Ultralist right now. I think it's actually just going to go down.
Looks
Huge
like
storms.
YongHwa is taking this opportunity while those units are out of position to actually push onto this mid base. Storms going down on a lot of those Corruptors, very weak right now.
Yeah, Blinks forward, and the Ultralists with the Lings are coming back from behind. Might want to try to sandwich, but I think his army's too small. Leenock actually supply blocked again, making 5 Overlords. Leenock has a huge bank. That's not an issue for him to remake these Overlords, for example, and his base to the 9 o'clock is still uncontested. You know, a huge Zealot run by, which was something that YongHwa was doing a great job with in the early game, is just still up and mining. I'd like to see him send something over there. He's getting a Dark Shrine, so we might see him use that, but with all these spines going up over here, it'll be a bit tougher to actually make that happen.
Broodlord switch is real right now. 7 of them on the way. More Corruptors as well as Infestors.
Yeah, I've seen a Broodlord in Korea on this map since, like, round 2 of Pro League.
Since, like, Sulky playing way back.
That's actually really refreshing. This is a great long game here.
Does he still have that fleet beacon?
Yeah, I think so. So he can make Tempest. I can't check on my computer, actually, it's blocked, but good Blinding Cloud here, actually making it so not all those units can actually fire at the back. Some feedbacks getting dropped, Storms going down as well. And under this Blinding Cloud, it's pretty tough to engage. Good Blink here. It's going to actually eliminate the last of these Corruptors, actually.
Oh, he just killed so many Corruptors with that Storm.
Immediately, all of them are replaced, though. Leenock has that massive bank. Something that YongHwa doesn't quite have here. In fact, he's dumped the last of his minerals into these Zealots, which are going to run across the map. Unfortunately, a bit too late because those Spine Claws are repositioned. Had he run over there earlier, it would have been a much different story, but a big blink on top of those Broodlords. One gets targeted, so does the second. Storm on the Locust, Storm on the Corruptors. Needs to pull those Colossi back. They are taking way too much damage. They both fall.
Oh, and the Fungal comes down on a big pack of units here. Now with the Locust and the Ultralist coming in, do a decent amount of damage. He does have to pull his Ultras back because there are a lot of Infestors in the mix. But the problem here for YongHwa is that he has absolutely no bang.
Yeah.
He's mining at this one base. It's not even really mining that much. He never took the mid base, whereas Leenock's got that base over towards the left totally, fully saturated. He's got a huge bank.
Remember what I was talking about earlier, too, before we got like interrupted by that triple Stargate? The concept I was talking about is how Leenock's fourth that he took, even though his knocker position. Oh, hold that thought. This is YongHwa's last attempt here to engage, and it's not going to work. This game is essentially over, but we'll see if YongHwa holds on. That base that he took, though, the fourth, it mined out first, so that was the only base YongHwa killed, and it didn't even matter because he mined it out first.
Even the gases were mined out.
Here comes some DTs, but oopsie daisy.
Some sad DTs now. Now down to 80 supplies, YongHwa, and dropping fast. I think he's going to have to GG out of this one.
He is. He just types it now. GG.
So, really cool style out of YongHwa. Actually, one that we haven't seen in quite a while. This kind of style against Zerg where you just sit back and tech to everything and, you know, try to do little pokes like Zealot harasses with Warp Prism, you know, make 9 Phoenixes and surprise your opponent and eventually just tech to, like, a kind of Death Ball style, but didn't quite work out for him.